Hello, welcome back to the channel Edify. So today we are going to look into Unit 3. We did studied about Unit 1 and 2 in the knowledge and curriculum. As the Unit 1 covers knowledge and knowing, Unit 2 covers meaning, nature and principles of curriculum. Now we are jumping into curriculum design and organization of knowledge. Okay. So what are the topics that been covered in the curriculum design and organization of knowledge? Definition and components of curriculum design, sources of curriculum design, design dimensions like horizontal and vertical organization, scope, integration and sequence, articulation and balance of continuity, meaning of knowledge organization, forms of people in schools, basis and agencies of knowledge organization. Okay, so this is all about the things that's been inside the unit 3. Now let us focus on the things. Okay, so curriculum design. What does mean by curriculum design, you think? What does mean by curriculum design, you think? So curriculum design is a framework or a plan or even a blueprint, okay, that arranges the different elements of a curriculum into a working structure. When the curriculum framework is coming into working structure, that is what the curriculum design. So a curriculum design is a framework or overall plan or a blueprint or a plan of action for preparing a course of study or set students experiences. So a curriculum, a curriculum design is the end result of curriculum decisions. So curriculum design has been explained in the Dictionary of Education 1982 edited by P.H. Hills. Okay, this curriculum design has been explained in the Dictionary of Education 1982 that has been edited by P.J. Hills. A curriculum design is a set of abstract relationships. Okay, what he says is a curriculum design is a set of abstract relationship embodied in the materials and learning activities of a course in use. It is the way the critical variables of subject matter, people's, teacher and milieu are brought together. This is how they have defined. You can refer to the Dictionary of Education in 1982 edited by P.J. Hills. Okay, so according to William M. Alexander of the University of Florida, okay, there is a William M. Alexander in the University of Florida. He says that the school curriculum has a framework or structure commonly called a design. Okay, the school curriculum has a framework or structure commonly called design, just as a building, a dress, or an automobile has. Although less tangible and hopefully less fixed, the curriculum design provides a basis for classifying and organizing the curriculum opportunity offered by the school. This is what, okay. It to have an objective. I told you there is a definitions given in Dictionary of Education that is edited by P.J. Hills, and I told you the definition given by William M. Alexander for the curriculum design. So you just remember, curriculum design is the overall plan or a blueprint that arranges the different elements of curriculum into a working structure. This is what curriculum design means. Okay, and it had different definitions given by different authors. Now a design, of course, needs to be supported with and to make explicit a curriculum theory which establishes the sources to consider and the principles to apply. So here there are the quotations that is applied in curriculum is, of course, we can call it as main components also. Objectives, that is what to achieve. Content, what to teach. Learning experience or methods, how to teach. So what to achieve, what to teach, how to teach. Teaching strategies also included. Okay, and evaluation, how to check learning. How to check learning. Evaluation is important, right? So those 5 steps you can include teaching strategies, which is not in the slide. Objectives, content, learning experience, teaching strategies, evaluation. This is how it works. Okay. A well designed curriculum ensure all these components work together logically. Okay. A well defined curriculum ensure all these things work together. So the example is, designing a science curriculum begins with the objective understand photosynthesis, followed by the content, hands-on experience, and the test check of understanding. Okay, this is how it works. So now we should know the sources of curriculum design. Where did the sources come? Where did the sources come? There are few sources. There are 5 sources that we can divide. Knowledge as a source. Okay, knowledge as a source. Learner as a source. Science as a source. Society as a source. External and divine source. These are the sources that mention. So when it comes to society, social needs, values, demand guides, what should be taught. The learner, psychology, interest, development need of students shape the curriculum. So when it comes to knowledge as a source, it is one of the prime source. Okay. So 2 kind of knowledge we say, that is disciplined and undisciplined. Disciplined is constructive structures there. Undisciplined is does not have exclusive content, pulls from many sources. Okay. There is an example for knowledge as a source. So for example, physics has a conceptual structure, but home economics is undisciplined in nature. This is what discipline and undisciplined knowledge as a source. Now learner, progressive and flexible curricularists, humanistic educators, and those engaged in postmodern dialogue consider the learner to be the primary source of curriculum design. The source of curriculum origin is from what we know about the learner, and emphasis is on learning by doing. Learning by doing. So learner is also the source. And science, the design stresses on learning that focuses on how the learner to think, learn or think. So everything, like learner is also the source, and knowledge is also the source, and science is also the source. So now design dimensions. We do have the dimensions for curriculum design. One, horizontal and vertical organization of curriculum design. So when it comes to the horizontal and vertical, essential dimensions. These are essential dimensions. While vertical designs are related to the longitudinal arrangement of a design component, horizontal designs on the other hand deals with the side-by-side arrangement of the curriculum design. Can you understand? While the vertical design are related to the longitudinal arrangement of a design component, horizontal design on the other hand deals with the side-by-side arrangement of the components in the curriculum design. Okay. So, when it comes to horizontal, we do have adult, secondary, primary, preschool. Okay. So, it starts from the preschool, right? Preschool, then primary, then elementary, then secondary, then adult. This will be arranged vertical integration, and in horizontal widening of knowledge. This is how it needs to be given. For example, a spiral format of the curriculum provide both horizontal and vertical, that is widening of knowledge, deepening of knowledge. So horizontal comes to widening of knowledge, vertical comes to deepening of knowledge. That is what the spiral means. Okay. So linking a math lesson on measurement with a science project on a planned growth is horizontal organization. Okay. So when the math measurement is related to the science project in the same grade, that is horizontal. Teaching addition in grade 1 and algebra in grade 8 is vertical organization. You understand? Addition in grade 1. Both are the same subject and both have this, step by step it is going on properly, vertically. But in the horizontal, it goes beyond linking, widening the knowledge. That's what widening the knowledge. Vertical, it's deepening the knowledge. In the same topic, it's getting deep. But in the horizontal, it is widening, wide. That's what's the difference between this wide and deep, vertical and horizontal. Okay. So how this is designed, top to down and top down instruction, down top instruction, like this. Okay. So next, scope, integration and sequence. Okay. According to Saylor, okay, first scope. According to Saylor, scope is defined as the breadth, variety and types of educational experiences that are to be provided to people as they progress through the school program. So you cannot understand, right? So nothing, scope is nothing, the breadth and depth of the content. How much and how wide a topic is covered. How much and how wide this topic is covered. Normally we say, right, if you study this group, if you study this, what is the scope of it? What is the scope of it? How much and how wide a topic is covered, how useful it is to be, right? So next, integration. Learning becomes meaningful when content from one field is interrelated with the content from another. That is physics related with chemistry and chemistry related with maths, again with biology, again with literature, everything interrelated. That's what integration. Learning becomes meaningful when content from one field is interrelated with content from another field. But it should be proper relative. That's what meaningfully connecting different subjects or topics, so learning feels unified. This is integration. First, scope, how much and how wide. Integration is meaningful connectivity. Sequence, of course, the sequence is something, the logical order, right? While arranging the components of curriculum, a vertical sequence should be followed. Okay. Logical order, which content is presented usually simple to complex. What is the example given? Teaching fractions before decimals. Fractions before decimals is an example of sequence. Okay. Combined freedom struggle unit linking history and geography is an example of integration. So this is how it works. Scope, integration, sequence. Now, articulation, balance and continuity. So what is this articulation, balance and the continuity? Articulation is the smooth connection between different educational stage. The smooth connection between different educational stage. So this is actually articulation, balance, continuity is the ABC curriculum organization. ABCs of curriculum organizations. Okay. Of this three, articulation, and continuity are mutually related. Articulation and continuity are mutually related. And the former is referred to as horizontal articulation and later as vertical articulation. Okay. So first it's referred as horizontal, first it's referred as horizontal, then later it is into vertical. Okay. So this is what article, a smooth connection between different educational stage. So learning progress is without gaps. So that is why articulation and continuity are interrelated. Okay. So balance, fair emphasis is given among subjects like skill, knowledge and values. No areas dominates unfairly. So no single areas dominates unfairly. If you are giving importance to one single area and not to others, that area dominate other areas. That's why it has been given in a balance. Balance should be there, and continuity, of course, important skills and concepts are repeated and reinforced across grades with increasing the depth. So that is why it is important. So the example given here is, reading skills are practiced every year with increasing complexity from grade 1 to 10. This is continuity. This is Continuity. So once again, this articulation A or horizontal articulation situations present three main problem in the school. Okay, first, interdisciplinary controversy. That signifies that no apparent relationship is seen between different classes when they teach different subjects in succession. Such treatment of the different subjects like English, mathematics, etc. as watertight compartments fail to foster potentially later relationships. This is one problem. Okay, that is interdisciplinary controversy. Second problem is absence or relationship between theory and practice in teaching. So these two aspects must be brought close together and the theory made meaningful by using it in practical situation. Theory made useful by practical situation. Third problem, that is bringing of the school into relationship with the life of the surrounding community. This is also a problem, right? So these are the problems that is happening in the articulation. So some of the ways that we can make it articulated is team teaching is one of the way for teachers of different subjects to cooperate in an interdisciplinary manner. Important events, local, national, international, help to strengthen the school community relationships. Okay. And the new cooperative work study plan followed in schools help to correlate classrooms theory with the world of work. Example, teaching nursing in actual hospital situations and making it patient centered. So there they get the practical knowledge as well. So balance of curriculum design. So of course, sometimes opposing forces have to be considered. That is, should the emphasis be on the subject or on the child? It is not a case of either or but of deciding what is the most effective balance point between these two views in the phrase proper balance. Proper is a value judgment and brings from one's philosophy. So proper is something important. Okay, so then it is about continuity. Of course, continuity or vertical articulation refers to the condition whereby the learners will move smoothly from level to level along the educational ladder. So this is what this continuity refers. So the examples also we have seen. Some steps can be taken to ensure the continuity is introduction of new administrative unit, namely the junior high school in between the elementary school and the high school, that is 6 plus 3 plus 3. So this is one way they say. Ungraded school at the elementary level under the which nearly grades will be replaced by levels consisting of blocks of 3 or 2 years. For example, primary block of 3 years. This idea can be introduced in the high schools also with suitable modifications. This is one thing. Okay. So articulation, balance and continuity do have some problems and also solutions that we have seen what steps can be taken. So knowledge organization. What is the meaning? What is the forms, basis, agencies for this knowledge organization? So knowledge organization means arranging content logically and psychologically so it can be taught effectively. So it has to be arranged in logically and psychologically as well. So knowledge organization is actually a management idea. Okay, describing an organization in which people use systems and process to generate, transform, manage, use and transfer knowledge based product and services to achieve the goal. Okay. So the term KO, that is KO means knowledge organization or organization of knowledge, organization of information or organization of information organization designates a field of study related to library and information science, that is LIS. In this meaning, KO, that is knowledge organization, is about activities such as document description, indexing, classifications performed in libraries, database, archives, etc. Okay. So now we come with the knowledge or this knowledge organization included in the school educations as well. Okay. So we get included in these things. Of course, The forms of knowledge organization. How this is being formed. How the meaning we did seen. So another meanings is also there, like curriculum content knowledge organization means the arrangement of content in sequential manner for instruction and lesson. That's what's given, right? So now we do have this forms, basis and the agencies for that. Forms of knowledge organization is nothing but subject wise, correlated, that is subjects related, integrated, core curriculum, everything that comes into this form. Now basis, the logical structure of the subject and the psychological readiness of the child. So logical things also should be there and child is also should be ready for that, right? So now agencies, of course, the role of this NCERT and SCERT and even Tamil Nadu textbook and NCTE and headmasters, everything, teacher, everybody's roles get involved in this. So there are some methods that they follow. Okay. So for example, if I tell you about the spiral plan, that is one of the method, that is spiral organization and concretic organization, logical, psychological, modular. These are the types of this knowledge organization. Okay, these are the types of this knowledge organization. Okay, so when it comes to this type of this knowledge organization, first spiral organization. This is a way of arranging complex subject matter for learning and instruction. Okay, so for example, in the spiral organization, the elementary school, the students learn a simple content, but in the subsequent years, they learn the contents in more complex. Okay, first they learn simple, then it goes complex. So during this course, study goes deeper into the subject matter and study in different aspects of it. Okay, so a year's work in a subject may be spread over several years in terms of including increasing maturity of the students. So when it comes to again spiral organization, there's a way of arranging complex subject matter for learning and instruction. So how it is been, example, first standard study of domestic animal, second standard beginning study of needs of plants, third standard ecosystem involving animals and plants, fourth standard ecosystem involving humans, fifth standard animals and plants as systems, sixth standard physical system earth as system, seventh chemistry of the household, 8 environment, 9 physics, 10 chemistry. So in the start itself they didn't started studying particular subject, right? So it goes deeper and it goes till the end it goes. And there is no end for the deeper, right? It goes even into the next level of education. And there they started choosing which needs to be and which need not to be. And there are advantages for the spiral curriculum, that is content learned in the previous year and the subsequent years are interrelated. The students can go deeper into the subject when his or her age increases. Okay, and newer ideas and contents are built upon this basic ideas and content. So this is one spiral organization, one method of the spiral organization is one method of the knowledge organization. So now next another method is concentric method. So this concentric organization is also a way of arranging complex subject matter for learning and instruction. It is similar to spiral. In fact, that simple concepts are arranged in the lower grades and difficult concepts are arranged in the higher grades, similar to the spiral. It's different from the spiral curriculum in the fact that there is no continuity in the concepts learned in the lower grade. The continuity is not there. That much continuity it is not there. But it is somewhat similar to the concentric organization. Now logical organization. We did spin spiral. Now concentric. Now logical. Each one of the content elements in the syllabus is first examined to judge its natural based upon the difficulty to learn and its relatedness with other content elements. So each syllabus first examined to judge. then it is getting arranged. So this arrangement of contents in the natural sequence is called logical organization. So it's all about natural sequences. So sequences from the known to unknown, simple to complex, concrete to abstract, observation to reasoning, and sequence from whole view of a movie, detailed view to a whole view. This is how it goes. Next, psychological organization. So this has been given by Jan Piaget, that is Piaget, Piaget. Okay, psychological organization. The popular developmental psychologist has stressed the need to provide education according to the stage of cognitive development of children. So based on the cognitive development of children, the psychological organization suggested to give the education. So he have given the stages of 4. Okay, the psychological organization, the Piaget have given the 4 stages. That is sensory motor stage, birth to 2 years. From the time of birth to 2 years is sensory motor stage. Simple experiences are organized in nursery, school and kindergarten. Child manipulate the world through action. So this is sensory motor stage. Next is preparational stage, 2 to 7 years. Preparational stage is 2 to 7 years. Child begin to represent the external world through symbols. Okay. Contents that promote symbolical operations are organized in the lower grade. So that is pre-operational stage, 2 to 7. Next, concrete operational stage, 7 to 11. Formal operational stage, 11 to 15. Again, sensory motor, birth to 2 years. Pre-operational stage, 2 to 7. Concrete operational, 7 to 11. Formal operational, 11 to 15. These are the 4. Finally, modular organization, that is arrangement of material or contents in modules is called modular. A single module is prepared as an independent unit. Module uses a language style to create the feeling among the learners as if they are being addressed by the teachers. It gives suitable illustration, recall questions as part of the lesson and diagrams wherever necessary. So that is a one type of it. Okay, now let's come to this agencies. So we did taught the types of this knowledge organization, that is spiral, concretic, logical and psychological and modular. Under the psychological, sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, formal operational stage, and modular is the final one. That's it. And we come to the agencies involved in organization of knowledge in schools. So, role of NCERT in organization of knowledge. So, this NCERT is nothing but National Council of Educational Research, and training is an autonomous body set up by the Government of India. This Union Education Minister is its president. There will be a director to coordinate, control and administer. This body is more an academic one rather than an administrative one. It has several departments to look after different aspects of education. There is also the Department of Curriculum Development that takes up the responsibility of developing curriculum in different subjects at different levels, and it publishes the textbook, guidebook, instructional material that help the teachers in implementation of curriculum. So, in the Indian situation for the planning of secondary level curriculum, the agency involved at the central level is National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCERT. So they are doing it, and this framework prepared it only suggestive and for the state governments and board of examination to accept it, modify it or reject it. And now SCRT. This is NCRT is national, right? This SCERT is State Council Educational Research, where training attains to various wholesome program at the state level. This is all about state level. The state government organized the State Institute of Education for the same purpose as the NCRT. So they follow the things as in-service training, extension work, research, publication. So as mentioned in the NCERT, prepares the curriculum which is suggestive in nature, and it is the state government which decides to select, modify or reject. Same goes like this. Okay, and role of Tamil Nadu Textbook Incorporation of Organization of Knowledge. So the Tamil Nadu Textbook Corporation is the academic wing of the Department of Public Instruction because it acts as the leader of school education and undertakes the responsibility of improving the quality of education. There are objectives for this TNTBC, that is Tamil Nadu Textbook Corporation, to provide good academic leadership to school education in the state, to improve the quality of teacher education, to administer teacher education in state, to provide in-service education to elementary school teachers, and to encourage action research for professional growth of teacher, prepares and revise curriculum, syllabus and textbooks for not only education but also teacher education. So these are the roles that they have been taken into account for their objectives. And role of NCTE. What is this NCTE? National Council of Teacher Education. That's been also developed the curriculum and syllabi for nursery teachers training, elementary training, secondary teachers trainings, senior secondary training. Everywhere they have been developing and they are helping the teachers. And role of the headmaster is also important. Role of the teacher is also important. So everyone works together in this particular knowledge organization area. Okay, now we come to the next unit, that is fourth unit, curriculum development and implementation. So when it comes to curriculum development and implementation, we do have the topics covered, that is phases of curriculum development process, models of curriculum development, that is Tyler, Taba, Saylor and Alexander. They have these models. Curriculum implementation model, ORC and LOC. So let me tell you, there are some phases for this curriculum development process. Okay, in developing either a teacher or learning unit or an integrated curriculum, various discussions are made to work out on a realistic curriculum by incorporating all the principles for good curriculum. Okay, so now according to Hilda Taba, that is HILDA according to Hilda Taba, the phases or steps needs to be followed is diagnosing needs. First you have to diagnose the needs. Then formulating specific objective. Get all the needs and form the objective from the needs. Then select the content. Then organize the content. So diagnosing needs, formulating specific objectives, selecting content, organizing the content, selecting learning experience, organizing learning experience, evaluating, checking for balance and sequence. Let me tell you the phases, 8 phases. Okay, 8 phases I'll tell you. That is, see, I have given planning, designing, implementation, evaluation. This is the simple planning, the designing, implementation, evaluation is a simple. In a deeper, let me tell you. Okay, first phase, diagnosing the needs. First phase is diagnosing the needs. Before planning the curriculum, diagnosis helps in general analysis of problem, conditions, difficulties, whatever it is. So it can generate a new emphasis and new ideas about the curriculum by knowing from various sources, that is student, cumulative record, teachers record, parents interview, children cases and their IQ achievement, from everything. So we have to diagnose what is already there, what is needed, what is the feedback, how it's going on. So the diagnosis is the first thing before planning. Then from the diagnosis needs, from the diagnosing needs, we get it what is needed. So now we formulate the specific objective. The objective is created from the Need should be there, right, to have the objective. We need a quality education, that way we have the objective as achieve the quality education, right? So the objectives will be very comprehensive, like concepts or ideas to be learned, attitudes, sensitives and feelings to be developed, way of thinking to be reinforced, strengthened and initiated, habits and skills to be mastered. This is phase 2, setting the objectives. First, phase 1, diagnosing the needs. Phase 2, setting the objectives. Phase 3, selecting the content. Select the topic, select the basic ideas, select the specific content. That is important for phase 3. Then phase 4, you got the need, objective, topic. Now you have to organize it. You have to organize the content, not randomly, right? It has to be in sequential order, concrete to abstract, simple to complex, known to unknown, immediate to remote, easy to difficult. In these areas, it needs to be organized correctly. So first you get the need, diagnosing the need, then again you are doing the objectives, then you comes to selecting the topic, then organizing it. Organizing where? Sequential order, concrete to abstract, simple to complex, known to unknown, immediate to remote, easy to difficult. Now 5 and 6, selecting and organizing the learning experience. So introduction, opener, orientation, how it needs to be. So now you are creating interest and then teaching it and then analyzing it and asking to study. So selecting and organizing the learning experience is important. So this criteria where the content is drawn should provide that what student need to experience. Okay, a variety of learning, reading, writing, observing, doing research, analyzing, everything is there. So the learning experience are expected to be first, introduction, opener, orientation. That is generally viewing at learning experience. At least 3 main stages should be involved. That is introductory, first introducing, then opening up, then orientation. This is how these 3 basic things needs to be there. So selecting and organizing is important for the learning experiences. Okay, so we do have the arouse interest. How the interest needs to be aroused? The teacher plan learning experience by developing various dimension of subjects, and after developing the skills of analysis and study, students will be able to generate. So that is generalization. They can generate their own ideas. Then they apply it. That's come, we can do the evaluation. So phase 6 is the combination. 5 and 6 is the combination, selecting and organizing the learning experience. And phase 7 is evaluating. Of course, whatever they understood, there it needs to be evaluated. Phase 8 is checking for balance and sequence. So now whatever we have given the sequence, is that as proper? Is that as balanced? No more, unfair activities, unrelated activities are there. Is it proper? That needs to be checked in the phase 8. So once again, the phases of curriculum development process. Phase 1 is all about diagnosing the need. Phase 2 is all about objectives. That is also specific objectives. Then phase 3 is all about selecting the topic. Phase 4, organizing the topic. 5 and 6, selecting and organizing the sequence. Learning experience. Phase 7 is all about evaluating. Phase 8 is all about balance and sequence. Okay, so don't confuse with phase 8 balance and sequence and phase 5 and 6 learning experience. There also the sequence is needed. Here also it's needed. Okay, so now there is a example given. Before launching a new syllabus, education authorities plan it, design it, try it in a few pilot schools and then evaluate. Okay, so we do have the models of curriculum development. Why the models is needed, you think? So there is a Taylor's model, Taba's model, and Saylor and Alexander's model, right? So why do we need this model? When it comes to Taylor, okay, the progressive emphasizes the importance of studying the child to find out what kind of interest he had, what problem he encountered, what purpose he has in mind. The progressive sees the information as providing the basic source of selecting objectives, that is inquiry model. What is the objective, what experience, how to organize, how to evaluate, that is top down model answering the 4 questions. This is a top down model. Taylor's model is a top down model, and we have the questions, that is what objectives, what experience, how to organize, how to evaluate. This is what all about this Taylor's model. Now we comes to Taba grassroots rational model, that is a bottom up model where teachers, not authorities, start the process, diagnosing needs, forming objectives, selecting, organizing, evaluating. Whatever the phases we see, phases of curriculum development is related to this bottom up model, where the Taba's grassroots rational model is related to the phases. So that you remember, diagnosing needs, forming objectives, selecting, organizing content, then evaluating. They directly go to the evaluating. So we did have the mid 2 phase, that is all about learning experience and the finally sequence, but they skip that and directly they go to, after organizing, go to the evaluating. So this is Taba's model. So Taylor, answering the 4 questions, that is top down model, what objective, what experience, how to organize, how to evaluate. Taba's is bottom up model. Taba's bottom up model, that is where the start the process, diagnose, form objectives, selecting and organizing, contact, then evaluating. That's it. Now Saylor and Alexander's planning process model. First inquiry model of Taylor, then grassroots national model of Tabas, and now the Saylor and Alexander's planning process model. So this planning process model treats curriculum as a system. So here Saylor and Alexander have this model where they set goals, plan curriculum design, implement it, evaluate the outcomes, view all paths are interconnected. Whereas the all paths are interconnected here. Taylor's model works like a policy handed down by planners, whereas Taba's model starts with classroom teachers identifying what students actually need. Now you got it, right? So Taba's model is what the phases when we use it. So yes, ORC model, overcoming resistance to change. There are many different models for implementing curriculum. One common model is this ORC, that is overcoming resistance to change. This model actually focus on gaining advocates and sharing power equally between administrators and teachers. They support equally. So this model focus on change from the perspective of the teacher. We have the 4 stages in this model. Okay, one is unrelated concern, personal concern, task related concern, impact related concern. First we have the stage unrelated concern. That is, the first stage is a stage of indifference. A teacher is aware of change but do not see how it relates to their own life. As such, the teacher is not worried about whatever innovation is coming. Example might be hearing about efforts to bring online learning to a school. Teacher knows this innovation is out, but it has not impacted them yet. So this is unrelated concern. So now this is under ORC. Okay, unrelated, personal, task related, impact related. Now personal concerns. Teacher is now concerned with how the new innovation or curriculum will impact their life personally. Teacher now concerned with how the new innovation or curriculum will impact their life personally. For example, an English teacher wrestling with how using online learning will affect what they are trying to do in the classroom. So this is what? A personal concern. First is unrelated, then personal, then task related. So in stage 3, the teacher is thinking about how to use the new curriculum or innovation. Questions begin to go through their hand in terms of application. For the online learning example, the teacher may wonder about such problems and ask how much time will it take to learn? What are the best ways to use this new innovation? What kind of support will I get? All these questions arises in a stage 3, that is task related. First unrelated concern, then personal concern, personal related or personal concern. First unrelated, then personal, then task related, finally impact related. Now the teacher has taken the focus of their performance and is now worried about how this will affect students. At this stage, teachers are focusing on their students, peers in school. For the online learning, again the example, teachers start to wonder how online learning will benefit the student. A teacher may start to wonder how other teachers are doing as they try to use their new innovation. The shift here is from self to others. First unrelated, then personal, then task related, finally impact related. That's how this ORC, overcoming resistance to change. So the conclusion of this ORC is change involves a reaction. For the ORC model, the reaction involves 4 clear steps. Every teacher may not go through these 4 stages. However, these stages help to explain what a leader can anticipate when trying to implement the curriculum. So this is ORC. Okay. Overcoming resistance to change. Now, leadership obstacle course model, that is LOC. Leadership obstacle course, that is what this LOC. Okay. This LOC is known as leadership obstacle, right? So, this LOC, leadership obstacle course model, treats staff resistance to change as problematic and make efforts to collect data to determine the extent and nature of resistance. Okay. So, how we can say is building a strong connection between the curriculum developer and teachers in schools to ensure smooth collaborative adoption. See, when a stage introduces a new syllabus, ORC model run teacher orientation workshop to reduce the resistance. Okay, this ORC model run teacher orientation workshop to reduce resistance. But this LOC model connect curriculum experts directly with the school teachers for ongoing support. Can you understand? Directly they are connecting with the school teachers for ongoing support. That's it. That is the important point of this LOC. I hope you understand. So this ORC have many steps, that is unrelated, personal, task related, then impact. But this LOC directly jump into the process and start doing it and explaining it to them as simple as. Okay. Now we have the unit 5. Wow, the unit 1 and 2, even the 3 might be taking a much time. But I think 4 and 5 will be simple. Again, I am telling you, I am reading out the things. You go through the book also once and watch the video also once. Better you look into the PPT if you have very less time to grasp the exam. Yeah, let's jump into this unit 5, curriculum evaluation and change. Okay, so curriculum evaluation and change is the 5th unit, consists of curriculum evaluations, concept, definition, approaches, phases, Taylor's objective, Roberts takes congruence, curriculum's revision. Okay. First, what does it mean by this curriculum evaluation? This is last step. Evaluation is the last step, right? So, this curriculum evaluation refers to the evaluation of different components of curriculum. That is, objective, content, method, everything involves the evaluation procedure for students' assessment. So, in curriculum evaluation, the evaluation of 5 M's are done. Evaluation of 5 M's are done. The first M is a men. First M is a men. Okay. Whether curriculum has been organized and implemented properly by the faculty members and other personnel involved. Okay. First is a men. Whether curriculum has been organized and implemented properly by the faculty members and other personnel involved. This is the first M. The second M is all about money. Whether money meant for curriculum development is utilized properly. Whether money needs for curriculum development is utilized properly. First M is all about curriculum is organized and implemented properly by faculty. Second M, money is all about money meant for curriculum is utilized properly. Third M is material. Evaluation of textbook literature like used for all these things. It is all about using it properly, the materials. Then method, teaching learning method. Then minutes, adequate time is given for the subjects in science, arts, language, everywhere. So, men, money, material, method, minute. Men, money, material, method, limit, minutes. So, these 5, men, money, material, method and minute. These are the 5 things that needs to be noted in this evaluation. Okay, this curriculum evaluation is a process of obtaining information for judging the worth of an educational program, product, procedure, objectives, everything. Okay, so are the contents presented in the recommended sequence? Are the students being involved in the suggested instructional experience? Are students reacting to the contents? Are objectives being observed? All these questions comes. There are some definitions given to this curriculum evaluations. Okay. So, curriculum evaluation is the systematic process of judging the worth, quality and effectiveness of curriculum. The need of this curriculum is to check whether educational objectives are actually being achieved. To check whether educational objectives are actually being achieved. The importance is it identify the gap and weakness, guiding the improvement, ensure the accountability. Everything needs to be taken care. Okay. So, the curriculum evaluation have some basic elements. Before looking into elements, let's look into these examples for the concept, need and importance. After a new max curriculum is used for a year, student test score and teacher feedback are analyzed to see if understanding actually improved. Okay. Now the approaches and phases. So yeah, in this approaches and phases, first we see the elements we have. May think that curriculum evaluation is a difficult process. They often feel that they have neither the time, the expertise, nor the inclination to carry out this evaluation. Unfortunately, very few realize that evaluation does not have to take up much extra time. In fact, much of the curriculum development work that is already taking place can easily be a part of evaluation work. So this is very easy. Just as curriculum development activities must be systematic, curriculum evaluation also be systematic and meaningful structure. The present curriculum are comprehensive and therefore evaluation must also be comprehensive. That's how it goes, right? So there are 4 elements that is there in this curriculum evaluation. Okay, that is content evaluation, input evaluation, process evaluation, product evaluation. So we call content and input evaluation as the curriculum initiation and structuring. Okay, curriculum initiation and structuring. Under this curriculum initiation and structuring only, this context evaluation, input evaluation. Now, curriculum operations, that is process evaluation, product evaluation. Context input is under initiation and structuring. Process and product is under operations. Okay. Clearly, 4 elements: context, input, process, product. Okay. So now first two is context and input, which we call curriculum initiation and structuring. Second two is process and product, that is operations. Okay, now context. To define the operation context and to identify and assess the needs in the context and to identify and delineate problems underlying the needs. So numerous questions one can ask in the context evaluation. What are the questions one can ask in the context evaluation? Should the curriculum be offered? What student population will the curriculum serve? What content will be included in this? What goal and objective will be used? Like this. Now input evaluation. This is what curriculum materials might be most useful for a particular educational setting. What materials are most acceptable to teachers and students? How might individualized instruction be best implemented? What are the relative effects different materials? So now it gets into so deeper of input. First context and then into input. That is all about initiation and structuring. Now the processing, the operations. Process evaluation. This is to identify or predict defect in the procedural design or its implementation. That is, process evaluation consists of how well are learners performing, what is the quality of instructional and support personnel, what are the costs associated with operating the curriculum, to what extent are students satisfied with the instruction, which of the curriculum components are deficient. This is called process evaluation. Finally, product evaluation, that is included of context, input and process. Curriculum questions, that is relation in productive evaluations, are what is the mobility of former student, how satisfied are former students with their positions, how do employers view the performance of former students, how adequately is the curriculum preparing individuals for job entry. Got it? So this is how the elements been evaluations elements of evaluation being questioned: context, input, process, product. Okay, now this context evaluation do have the sources. What are the sources? It's very simple. It's very simple. The questions with the 9 persons: student, teacher, administrator, subject expert, curriculum expert, policy maker, community, dropouts, employees and entrepreneurs. These are the peoples. If you think, even you can write the sources of curriculum evaluation. The people around the curriculum evaluation: who? Student, teacher, administrator, curriculum developer, subject expert, policy maker, community, dropouts, and finally employees and entrepreneurs. That's it. So the curriculum evaluation do have some dynamics also, that is dimensions also. So those dimensions is all about the assessment of student progress towards stated objectives, the efficiency of our teaching as well as the effectiveness of curriculum. So content, organization, transaction. Okay. First, content. Already we know that. First step involves selection of content and learning activities. That is why curriculum content being placed in first in the curriculum evaluations dimensions. Okay. Then we have organization. Then we have transaction. This is how it goes. Okay. So then we comes to the curriculum's curriculum evaluations functions and approaches. So when it comes to functions, you know the function of this is organization of content and certain material and to know its result. Evaluation can help in the process and also to bring changes in them. This one point is very valid in that. So here we see the approaches and phases, right? So now let's come to this approaches. Before approaches and phases, please do remember we have seen the elements in this, and we have seen the sources in this, and now we have seen the dimension, that is content, organization, transaction. Now just jumping into this approaches. There are different approaches that we have in this curriculum evaluation. 5 different approach: scientific approach, humanistic approach, bureaucratic, and autocratic, democratic. Okay, now first scientific approach is probably oldest approach to the curriculum evaluation, as it dates from the modernism and emphasizes on the scientific method of 19th 20th century. Okay, this is how it's been there. That approaches is from oldest. Scientific is oldest. Humanistic is postmodern worldview. The humanistic approach looks at the individual rather than the numbers. Data is much more qualitative in nature. The rationale behind this is that life has multiple perspectives to it, and quantitative data only provides one perspective. So humanistic approaches is the postmodern worldview, and it focuses on individual then group. Scientific is the oldest one, and bureaucratic is the usually initiated by the government or the Ministry of Education. So the Ministry of Education could evaluate a course of study or subject taught in school to find out whether they need improvement or modification. That is bureaucratic evaluation. Autocratic is something focuses on what is educational need of curriculum. Again, government or ministry usually asks independent evaluators such as consultants to conduct this evaluation. Again, democratic is something experiences and reactions on curriculum initiators have with the programs being evaluated. In this approach, the evaluation does not lead to firms' recommendations to be considered by initiators or implementators. Once again, scientific, humanistic, bureaucratic, autocratic, democratic. Bureaucratic, autocratic, democratic is very easy. Government or things do. Scientific and humanistic is the old ones. Okay. So yeah, here we do have the things for the phases. Formative evaluation, that is continuous evaluation done during the curriculum development, and summative is something done after the curriculum is completed. So formative, it goes ongoing, summative after completing, and both helps in the early and final. Okay, so this is fine. So Taylor's objective on centered evaluation model. So we did know that Taylor has been giving many things. So now Taylor's objective on centered evaluation model, that is Ralph Taylor goal attainment model, or sometimes called the objective center model. The another name of this objective centered evaluation model is goal attainment model. Listen carefully. The another name of the objective centered evaluation model is attainment model. Okay, attainment model. So the Taylor model is comprised of 4 major parts. He have the 4 major parts. This Taylor's model has 4 major parts, that is defining the objectives, that is objectives, content, organization, evaluation. Okay, objective, content, organization, evaluation. Defining objectives of the learning experience, identifying learning activities, that is content for meeting the defined objective. First defining objective, then identifying the content for meeting the defined objective, then organizing the learning for attaining the defined objective. Okay, first defining the objective, then after defining, identifying the content that satisfy the defined objectives, then organizing the activities that again attain the defined objectives. Okay, then evaluating and assessing the learner's experience. So objectives, then content, organization, finally evaluation. This is the 4 common thing that Taylor have given as the objective centered evaluation model, or otherwise called as goal attainment model. So the Taylor model begins by defining the objectives of the learning experience. So those objectives must have the relevancy to the field of study to overall curriculum. Okay. So the curriculum objective for the from the three sources is student, society, subject matter. Student, society, subject matter. From these three only the objectives needs to be collected. Student, society, subject matter. Okay, so this is one main thing, and we do have some criticism in that, that is, this is too restrictive and covers a small range of student skill and knowledge, they say. Okay, wait. Taylor states that the important thing is for students to discover content that is useful and meaningful to them. Okay, so it was a Taylor is a strong supporter of the student-centered approach to learning. Okay, so overall Taylor model is designed to measure the degree to which predefined objectives and goals can have been attained. In addition, this model focuses primarily on the product rather than the process of achieving the goal and objective of the curriculum. Therefore, Taylor's model is product first. It evaluates the degree to which a predefined goal and objective has been attained. So there is a criticism here. So the first criticism is it is difficult and time consuming to construct behavioral objective. Taylor's model relies mainly on behavioral objective. Okay, it is difficult and time consuming for behavioral objective, and this Taylor model focus mainly on behavioral objective. Okay, so the objectives in Taylor model come from three sources, that is student, society, subject, and all the three sources have to agree on what objective need to be addressed. This is one of the difficulty, criticism that Taylor model have. Okay, so the Taylor model's criticism begins with the objectives, that is behavioral objectives is not possible. Student, society, subject, the source of the behavioral objectives is also not possible. Second criticism, as I told you earlier, it is too restrictive, cover small range of students. And there is another criticism, third criticism is it's too dependent on behavioral objective and difficult to declare plainly in behavioral objectives. Then fourth and last criticism. First they say about behavioral resources. Second, again they say that small range of students are covered. Third, again they say that dependent on behavioral objectives. And fourth, they say that objective in the Taylor model are too student-centered. This is for student-centered. The criticism is itself student-centered. Therefore, teachers are not given any opportunity to manipulate the learning outcomes. So, this is another problem, another criticism in this Taylor's model. Okay, so if the objective was student can solve linear equation, evaluation checks how well students. So this is what Taylor thing. Okay, now there is advantage, limitations, everything given for the Taylor's centered model, student centered model. Roberts takes congruence contingency evaluation model. So Roberts take also given the model. So stakes uprising model is used to explain and judge the curriculum. Explain and judge the curriculum. It is important that this description and judgment are made by different people as they look it. Different people as they look it. So rational, objectives, particulars, evaluation, techniques, timetable, everything is included. When it comes to rational, importance of evaluation, approaching method, benefits attained by evaluation, then objectives of evaluation. Particulars of evaluation is evaluation of curriculum, content, method, number, like this. Then evaluation, stage of compulsion, form of evaluation, suitability of frame, planning to attain the goal, resource of news, and so on. Then techniques used to classify the factors, timetable of program. These are the things comes under this evaluation model steps, that is reasonable, objectives of evaluation, particulars of evaluation, evaluation. Okay, so Now, this reasonable curriculum element is described. What is the purpose of evaluation? Is it going to be primarily descriptive or judgmental or both? Is it to emphasize antecedent condition transaction or outcomes or a continuation of this? Are we interested in this congruence structure? What is intended and what actually occurs? All these questions are there. Okay. So first, this curriculum is described in 3 levels. Okay. One is antecedent conditions, then transactions in process, then outcomes of the curriculum process. Okay. So this model is looking at the 3 elements: antecedents, transactions, outcomes. Antecedents is nothing but the conditions existing before teaching, like student readiness. Okay, antecedents is nothing but student readiness. Antecedents. Transaction, actual teaching learning process, that is transaction. Outcome, result achieved. Simple it is. Antecedents is the student ready, transaction is the teaching learning process ready, outcome everything is over, that's it. Antecedents, transactions and the outcomes, that's it. Okay, so now congruence, that is check whether what was intended actually matches with what really happened. Our goal and our reality meets or not, that is congruence. Contingency is check whether there is logical dependable relationship between this antecedents, transaction and outcomes. Is everything is logically related is was contingency, and congruence is something actually matches with what really happened. Intention matches with happen is what congruence. Contingency is antecedents, antecedent, transaction, outcome, everything matches or not. This is the problem. Okay, so comparing what was intended for a science lab activity with what actually happened in the classroom is the example of congruence. So now the revision. Okay, what is the revision of this? Of course, revision is needed. There are stages, about 7 stages in this revision. Stage 1, if a curriculum development and evaluation committee does not exist, one should be performed to act as coordinating group of implementing the curriculum changes. Stage 2, appraising the existing nursing and educational practice which are representative for the currently operating curriculum. Stage 3, make a detailed study of existing curriculum. Stage 4, establish criteria for decisions about what needs to go into curriculum, what needs to come out, and how the curriculum material methods be changed. 5, involves in designing and writing new curriculum after the changes. 6, actual implementations putting into action start. 7, following. That's it. That's how it goes. And things needs to be kept in mind when revising the curriculum is faculty involvement. Consider why a change is necessary. Have a plan. Faculty involvement. Consider why the change is necessary. Have a plan. Consider requirements of accreditation agency and government. Consider stakeholders. Consider what other programs are doing. Consider the resources available. Consider assurances of learning goals. Consider compromise. Remember, it will change. Remember, it will change. Change has today become the only constant future of any endeavor, and it would be good for us to remember that in spite of revision that may have been undertaken, there may still rise a need for change, and we need to be prepared for that. So this is the thing that needs to be changed is a permanent, right? So there is a curriculum change and curriculum innovation. Change means dictated by the change in economic, social, technology aspect. Innovation is ideas or practice. New thing is what innovation, right? Making a change in old is change. New thing is what innovation. That's the simple thing, right? So how curriculum change and curriculum innovation process? There is a Lachiver and Tradif in 2002 have given something. Step 1, analysis of the current offering and context. Step 2, expression of key program aims in a mission statement. Step 3, prioritization of resources and development strategies. Step 4, implementation of targeted curriculum change. Step 5, establishment of monitoring and process. This is what the 5 steps they have given. And this curriculum change and curriculum innovation do have some types also. Okay, that is any alteration in someone or something, according to Miles, any alteration or in someone or something that is under change, that is under change, right? So we do have some types in change, that is planned change, indoctrination, causal change, technocratic change, international change, cumulative change, natural change. These are the changes they say. Yeah, here too some things are mentioned, that is substitution, that is replacing one element, alteration is making minor adjustment, restructure is completely restructure. So this is how it goes. So there is a typical process, that is when the need comes, we plan, we trial, we evaluate, we adopt it. Then power coercive is all about the government policies. Empirical rational is the strategy, that is change is introduced by showing evidence and logical benefits. We show the evidence and logical benefits, that is one part of the change that we say. And normative reductive strategy is brought by shifting teachers' attitude and values through training and discussion. So this is all about these things, and thank you. We did cover the 5 units of the knowledge and curriculum. That's wondering, I'm again telling you, I have read you the knowledge and knowing, meaning, nature and principles of curriculum, curriculum design and curriculum of organizations of knowledge, curriculum development and implementation, evaluation and change. So this knowledge and curriculum you have to go through once in your book, and if you do not have time, again please do watch the video and slides and go in with your own ideas and words. Thank you for listening. Bye.